Hi, everybody. So I saw that Tim released a video. Shocker. One of many videos. But this one is wild. But before we watch the one that I want to bring up where he is coming out with, in my opinion, allegedly some bold-faced lies, probably. Let's get out the fair use. All right, everybody. As we know, I'm going to transform Tim's comments, and these are my opinions. My opinions only. That's it. It's me, and I'm not an AI, and I'm not Margaret either. Anyway, let's go back to Tim a few years ago, where we had Tim, the gentleman who was trying to find his way on Social Security at 62 and sharing his journey with his beloved YouTube audience, his fans, the people who he wants to have a P.O. box available for so you can send him lots of Christmas gifts because, Tim needs your money, everybody, allegedly. All right, so let's just catch up with what he was saying in a video about what it cost him to live on Social Security. And as always, I will link this video down below in the description box. Take it away, Tim.
For $350 for a little bottle, and my insurance is paying it. And I think I paid $22 for one of them. So, I mean, I'm a blessed man. Thank you, Jesus. I'm a blessed man. And it actually turned my entire life around. So now, as a minimalist on Social Security, without a real job, just a side hustle, I am just making ends meet between the $1,700 Social Security, the $500 or $600 on the side hustle, the blessings that I get from YouTube, Amazon, and you guys buying me a coffee. Thank you so much for your generosity, those that have done that and those that might do it in the future. Hint, hint. Anyway, there's a link in the
Well, he was very good at predicting that one because there seems to have been lots of people donating to that, Tim. All right. So, he's just making those ends meet. Okay. Keep telling us about it, Tim. Keep telling us.
in the video. But I'm trying to put together all the scratch I can, and I'm making ends meet, and I'm not having to borrow from the savings. And the savings is nothing. The savings is just to, God forbid, an emergency. It's not like, hey, I got all this money in the savings. I can, take a cruise or, take the wolf pup out and travel. No. It's to give me.
Well, things certainly changed. Wolf pup gone. He's in the Flagstaff. Definitely been on a cruise.
So I don't sit and sweat and feel like I'm behind the 8 ball. I got a little savings, like people that have equity in their home or people that have money in the stock market or a 401. It's not that kind of money, but you know what I mean? It gives you a little peace of mind to know you got a little something. I mean, I hate to know that I'm making ends meet, but I got zero after that. God forbid, I needed to go to a dentist. I shared that on a few videos back, and I was just going to.
But Tim, I thought you planned your retirement so well.
Get an extraction because it's a rear tooth. It's not in the front, and they want a fortune to do, root canal and a crown. I don't have it. I just don't have it. And there is no insurance for dental. Dental insurance is a joke. It covers like 50% of this exorbitant price they charge. And dentists are on every corner. I don't know how they're charging that much money, but don't get me started on the dentist. But by the grace of God, again, my tooth stopped hurting. I had real sensitivity chewing back here. I had to favor the one side.
Is this how Tim found Christ?
Where I had an extraction done years ago, and I was just chewing against my gum. And not to divulge, too much information, but, you only get one set of teeth. I don't want to have them all yanked out. So what happened is a couple of them chipped and broke. And there's no exposed nerve or anything, but there was sensitive.
Okay. Well, it seems that this is a very different Tim than the one we're about to catch up with today, because this is one in he's in the shades and the golf shirts. We don't have Tim hanging out in the in the bow tie slinging the samples anymore. All right, I've sped up Tim to 1.25. If it's too slow, we'll speed him up. Take it away, Tim. I don't like long videos, and I've got stuff to do tonight.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sarasota Tim. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, please consider subscribing and give me a thumbs up after you watch the video, only if you like it. I want to talk to you today about retirement and living in an RV. I consider myself a minimalist.
Well, I cannot. I consider myself a minimalist. And I was going to talk about potentially you sharing an apartment with Miss Tammy, but I just can't take it. I'm going to let you guys know. Hold on to this one. Put your drinks down. Many of you may have already seen it, but this one's just.
I have two vehicles, one to tow my RV, another one to drive around that gets good gas mileage. And my home and everything I own is right behind me in my camper. I have a medium.
I promise you, Tim owns a lot, and anybody coming out here trying to profess that they are a minimalist and they talk about having two different types of vehicles, a truck to tow the RV, and then another car somewhere else just to go tootling around town. And then if they walked inside and saw all the things inside of there, the clothes, the various personas that Tim has, they'd probably be shocked that this man calls himself. Where were you at minimalist other than minimally working during your adult life, Tim? And minimally being there for your children, allegedly, in my opinion.
Medium-sized camper, not a big one, not a small one. And it works for me. It's a 25-foot Flagstaff. It has two slides on it. It's a 24. It's only a year old. My tow vehicle is a 24. It's brand new. And my gas mileage car is also a 24 and brand new. So I expect these things that I invested in. Yes.
Yes, because when I think of somebody who's really good with their money, I think, how many depreciating assets can I buy in a given year? When supposedly I don't even have a full-time job anymore. I'm in retirement age. But I've, happily put down $100,000 for vehicles. But I hope, all said and done, that you will buy me a coffee for gas for me to haul that Flagstaff RV. And I shall be setting up a P.O. box in order for people to send me Christmas/birthday, hopefully both gifts. Allegedly, in my opinion. Reason why, potentially, you could be rushing back to Florida, Tim.
I consider it an investment because people are buying homes today, and the average home is $450,000.
I just said they are not assets. They're liabilities. Unless you have this fully paid off, Tim, and therefore you must be really making very good money on YouTube, and you must be making more than we think on buying me a coffee.
And I have under warranty. The camper is no longer under warranty, but it's new. Everything reliable. And I'm mobile. I can go to an RV park that has long-term yearly leases or monthly rates, which is the only thing I even consider. If I do short-term for like a week or two, I look for free places like next to free, like casinos, truck stops, and that's when I'm traveling.
I guess this video is hopefully to capture, a whole new audience. I'm guessing he's hoping these things are going to trigger him up the algorithm. I think you need to be talking about, other events at the moment, Tim, to really be getting up the YouTube algorithm.
And so let's talk about it. Now, I have a home base in Florida, and I pay a monthly rate that is well under $1,000 a month, and it's in South Florida, which is kind of expensive compared to what you can actually get an RV space for, in Georgia or.
This man is hauling an RV. I can see it. His truck, and then the RV. Car speeding past. He's got new sunglasses, so who knows if he loses the other or he just needs to upgrade. He just cannot. He constantly has to have new stuff all the time. He's finally put a microphone on. He's got his little Rebate golf shirt on, probably gifted to him by somebody, who knows. But just driving along for 20-some minutes. I mean, I've done driving videos and they spook me out, but he does this on the record. He's just chatting away, hauling the RV. All right, keep going, Tim.
Nevada, other places around the country, you can get monthly rates for as low as $400, $500, $600 a month.
Cameras.
I'll pay a little bit more than that.
There he is.
And I have my Social Security,
okay,
which just went up another almost $50. And I'm a YouTuber, and my channel is monetized, meaning I receive revenue from making YouTube videos.
Have you ever said how much revenue? I think I've shared my revenue with my subscribers and followers and whoever wanted to watch. Have you shared yours? I don't think so.
Yes. So that supplements my Social Security. But I paid into my Social Security
I paid into my Social Security, he's about to say, my entire life. That's not how we understand that you're drawing your Social Security, Tim. There's an understanding, allegedly, in my opinion, that you're drawing your Social Security based on your ex-spouse, one of your ex-spouses, not from you working hard on Social Security. So who is this person and who is this narrative that you are suddenly trying to create in this video to lure unsuspecting people who are viewing YouTube and not aware of the history of Sarasota Tim? I mean, you really try to sell yourself as something you truly are not, sir. Because it was only a short time ago, a year or two ago, potentially, if that, maybe just over a year or so, that you were at supermarkets and doing samples to supplement, and you were living in the Wolf Pub and you were on a friend's property, and you have more than on one occasion back said that you did only a couple hours of work a day, a few days a week, and just put some money in your pocket. Now you try to sell yourself to people like, just the grift is hard, Tim.
My entire life. And when I got to be 62 years old, I found out that if you wait until you're 67.
All right, we got to go back on that for just a second. We're at 3:02. We just need to hear him declare that one more time. I need to almost do a soundbite. Tim saying his Social Security is because of his work. Let's hear that, Tim.
My Social Security. But I paid into my Social Security my entire life. And when I got to be 62 years old, I found out that if you wait until you're 67, a full retirement age, for another $300, $400, $500 a month, I would have to live till I'm 80 years old to ever see the first dollar ahead of what I lost for 5 years by not collecting. I'm going to get over $105,000 in my pocket, in my bank account, before next year, because I started taking it at 62. And the people that are still working, while they have an income coming in, they're still paying.
I am not an expert on Social Security, so I always recommend going to somebody on YouTube who actually is an expert on Social Security and not this guy, okay? This gentleman is the reason why Social Security experts like Dr. Edwin have had to pull themselves out of retirement. Because of you, Tim, giving this false information. Less is more. You are so far from any of that. The way you shop and persistently spend your time in retail outlets, Tim.
Taxes.
Yeah, cowboy hats that right
going
there
to a prison
behind you.
job. And maybe they have to because they have debt and they can't afford to quit.
Oh.
They didn't prepare.
Oh.
So I prepared.
All right. So anybody else who's working currently didn't prepare for their retirement, but Tim did prepare for his retirement. He didn't. Okay, everybody. Anybody who knows anything about Sarasota Tim and people who actually know Sarasota Tim in Florida know that that is not the case, allegedly, in my opinion. Well, I'm going to go back like 2 seconds because we need to hear this whole statement again because this is just gold already, Tim. Just cannot believe what he's saying. It's wild, Tim.
And maybe they have to because they have debt and they can't afford to quit. They didn't prepare. So I prepared and I always saved my money. My goal was to live like this all my life. When I was younger working in my business, I actually had an RV and lived just like this, but still worked doing my self-employment job. I lived in a Class C motorhome for 2 years. And that was right after I got divorced. I decided, and then I lost count of how many years.
Got to keep the glasses on because his eyes are so probably darting because he's telling so many untruths, in my opinion, at the moment. It's just really like trying to set up like he was somebody who prepared himself into $100,000+ of vehicles, getting to 100,000 between the Toyota and the truck, and then 40 for the Flagstaff, for $140,000. That this man that potentially came from a dodgy Social Security video from YouTube, his YouTube, people sending him buy me a coffees, all the gifts that he gets. I'm assuming that he may have made some money from his Amazon affiliate links also. Who knows how much? I also wonder, he is obviously still collecting his Social Security because he said that has risen. It wasn't based on his income. Tim, you had all those EIDL loans and PPP loans. This is not the case. You did not prepare at all. He got lucky. Oh my gosh. Keep going. I can't.
I shared a place. I was a roommate and I rented a room, but it wasn't just a little room. I had full access to the house, the garage, the kitchen, even though I didn't use it. But I did use a garage. And I always sought for places that did give me full access and for places that it was just the homeowner and me, not like some of these ads you see for roommates and they got 3 other people living in there paying. And everybody wants the air conditioning at a different temperature.
No, Tim's grift, in my opinion, allegedly, was that he found married couples so that he could, kind of get the wife to cook him breakfast.
And sharing a bathroom. No. I wasn't broke, but I wanted to save my money. So I paid $500 a month. And I lost count of how many years that I did that. So even when rents were...
Tim, if you were not broke, then allegedly, in my opinion, potentially, why were there unpaid child support potentially in California?
A grand $1,200 a month.
Allegedly.
Before the pandemic, I paid half that because I used to lease cars and for my business, so I'd have a nice car to drive around, reliable. I was in direct sales. I had to go out and make sales calls. And
is that how you wrote the lease off? Probably didn't purchase cars. You always said you had a new car, so I guess it was a new lease. And then you would write it off, I guess, as a business on that oil change coupon deal that you had. Your
between my lease payment and my $500 roommate price, I was still hundreds under what people pay for a rent or a mortgage. And I had a roof over my head. I had a brand new car. I was living large then. And then I said, one day, I've always been infatuated with RV lifestyle. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. And then when the pandemic came, I was in an apartment.
The blessings that we need this Christmas is you to get a really good case of laryngitis. That would be a blessing for all of us.
My money was saved, and they raised the rent $500, which was like 50%. And I said, no way, Jose. So I said, I'm out of here. And I bought an RV. And I lived in it for 2 years and went back to banking my money again. In fact, I didn't have any rent because I was property manager. And so I banked some more money. And then it just fell into my lap that what I had.
Anybody who has been following Tim for any length of time, are you buying this story?
Was a little bit too small, and I did want to travel. And the vehicle I had was not big enough at a Toyota 4Runner to pull it. Even the small camper, it was outmatched. First, I went around traveling and camping with that. I slept in the back of it, idled my engine all night if I needed air conditioning, made some videos about it, went out to Moab, climbed on these rocks, almost rolled it.
I know. So how did such a ill-prepared, in my opinion, person suddenly acquire $140,000 of liability in vehicles? I know some of that has come from that money that you made with YouTube and have made with YouTube, but you continue to ask people for money to help you get gas to travel across the country. And you anticipated that your friends would compensate you for your travels out west and hotel rooms and food and buffets and golf games and sundries and all golf shirts. And last time you went out west, I mean, you were making out like a bandit, Tim. And that's not even in my opinion. That's actually in videos that I followed because I was following you at that time. And you made out like a bandit. But I don't think this trip out west you did quite as well. I don't think your friends were quite as prepared to sort of pay for things for you. But this story that you're creating about how you acquire, how could you just go from the wolf? You've not explained anything, really. And you don't, because you don't want to. And you don't want to talk about the loans that you took from the government.
Check out that video. 4Runner conquers Hell's Revenge. Check it out. You won't believe what I did. So I got a Toyota Tundra, and I owned that. They were of equal value, and one was a 4-wheel drive and one wasn't. So it was kind of an even deal. And I enjoyed it. I had it for a while, and then when I got this big camper, I decided I needed a bigger truck. And I want to make this my life. And YouTube is doing good. And so the revenue was coming in, and it's all deductible because it's a business. And so that's how I do my deal. And if you want to,
I wonder if that is the case, that anybody who has an RV video on YouTube is therefore able to write off all of these expenses as tax deductible because they're creating this content. Even though this is actually the home that Tim lives in and the vehicles that he has for personal use, he has now decided that these are tax write-offs because of his YouTube channel. Does that mean I get to write off my condo? Good. That sounds great. I don't think it works like that, though. But I'm sure Tim found a loophole with
do something similar to this, and you're not a YouTuber, maybe you are a person that not only has Social Security coming in, but you have a pension, and you have a 401, or you had a house that went up a lot in value, like everybody's did, and you sold it.
Do you ever claim that this is not financial advice and you're not licensed to give financial advice and you're not certified to give financial advice and you have no expertise, no certifications, no licensure, no experience in this area? No, I didn't think so. But you should. You need to put those disclaimers out there, Tim, because you have no expertise. You can't sit there in your cosplay acting like you suddenly, this is, gosh, these, oh, I wish this, keep
And
going.
you got cash. And now, just like a guy that lives near me, where I stay in Florida, he's 80 years old, and he told me, I sold my house, I sold everything. I bought this brand new Ford diesel truck. I bought this brand new fifth wheel Flagstaff camper. And the rest of my money's tied up in cash. I got a pocket full of hundreds. I got a paid for truck and a camper. And he's also got a Can-Am, a three-wheel motorcycle, because he's older and you can just sit on it. You don't have to balance it. And he's a go-getter, 80 years old. And he said, I'm living my life. He even said this to me. He says, I'm not leaving my money to my kids. He goes, I had two sons. One died. I got one left. He said he can make his own money. That's what he said. He got away from working. He was doing woodwork, making picnic tables, doing something very.
Tim loves that philosophy. All right, let's put you to 1.5, Tim, because I want this a little bit faster. We need to get this done. I got stuff to do tonight.
Successful. Owned a couple of homes in the Sarasota area. Sold those, moved up. The last one went up way in value, and he just sold it. And another thing, and I talk about it a lot often.
Well, Tim, you've never owned a home, so why are you talking about other people? It's false equivalency because it's nothing to do with you.
When you live like this, and you're not paying $2,000 a month rent with utilities for almost anything today. I mean, things start at $1,700, $1,800 for a one-bedroom apartment. And if you can live for half of that.
America, Tim, apart from obviously, he probably did do quite well on his YouTube monies. I'm sure he does quite well, which set him up. But he also got a nice substantial loan. Now, hopefully, Tim's been a good boy and has used substantial YouTube income to pay off the debts that he, and that money that he borrowed from the American taxpayers, which could be upwards potentially of, I understand, anywhere to $80,000 between the two, potentially, allegedly.
At an RV place, then the $1,000 a month that you're not paying for an apartment is you're getting back every month by not giving it to them. It's coming back to you for what you invested in to live in. So already, I've been living in a camper for 3 years, 2 years on the first one, and a full year now plus in this one. I have paid myself back $36,000 in rent money that I received as a rebate by living like this. It's just like on the camper, that's a losing, a depreciating asset, but the money I got back by not paying rent for an apartment, which is throwing money out the window.
What about the rebate for the gas you just spent going across America? You always have this kind of, I think, very skewed logic when it comes to how you supposedly get money. I just feel like it's just probably because you've just been doing sort of shuffles of money your whole life. You were robbing Paul to Peter. I know it's the other, but you have to listen to that other video. Okay.
So, even though I'll get less for this because these do go down in value, I don't have to get a lot for it because I'm ahead of the game. I got a rebate back. So whatever I end up getting for it after a couple of years is found money. Like the one I traded in for it, I think it was like 10, 11,000 for it, maybe 11.5.
Because Tim didn't have to actually purchase the RV, everybody. You see, it just magically appeared from somewhere with money from somewhere. And Tim was able to get it, I guess, from his YouTube monies. And it's, and he just, just a made man.
So I got all the money back and then some. And so when I traded it in and they gave me $10,000 for it on paper, whatever it was found money because I didn't owe that thing anything. I got all my money back that I paid for it. And so I traded up for this.
Well, where did you get the money that you paid for it? Is that just the YouTube money? Or did you use it, as you've said originally when you had, things before, potentially some of that PPP and EIDL money? Or did that just go to pay off some debts that you had, which is what the other video said? It's amazing how just, I'm guessing it's all the money from YouTube and it's just set you up with $140,000 of the vehicles. I mean, potentially so. I mean, he gets a lot of coffees, man. Hundreds and thousands of dollars. I mean, that and the Social Security. Then half the time, last time, like I said, he got a bunch of stuff comped. I mean, people will send him, $100 for a shirt, whatever. He's
and I
living
just
the
paid the
life.
difference.
Thanks to you guys.
And now I've gotten, first they gave me 10 for the other one. This one cost 40. And I've gotten back another 14 because I bought it in October of last year, $1,000 back every month. That's 14 more thousand. That's $25,000 next month of the 30 I gave. So I only got 5 in it now. So if I sold it for 25 and lost money, I'm still ahead of the game. Don't you see? That's how I'm doing it. You know, you get a rebate back.
Do you see how Tim doing it, guys? He never had to pay it. It just started as an asset. He just had it. And so it never had to dock it anywhere. He's never had to do anything to manage that thing. That thing is free and clear wherever he goes. Absolutely. And it arrived from who knows where. It was just paid for. So everything he gets is just money in his pocket.
You drive a car, you buy a car, okay? It's a depreciating asset. But you drive it for 10 years and you don't make car payments like everybody else is doing for $500, $600, $700 a month. Or high insurance, you get the minimum insurance because it's an older car. You don't care if you have collision coverage. Just think of how much money you could be banking every month to buy a truck or a camper. And you can buy these used. I mean, I could sell my setup tomorrow. Let's say I want to wash my hands of this living and go back to living in sticks and bricks. I could put this and that. They may sell separately. I could.
You know, Tim was just living large prior to, about 2 years ago. Just living like a king out there in Florida, out in Boynton Beach.
Sell it as a package. Somebody might say, that's a perfect package. And look what I'm saving. And I'll pay you X dollars. It's a good deal for me. It's a good deal for them because I've gotten money back already. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but nobody else does who's a financial expert. Just you, Tim. Keep going.
It's just like people that worked all their lives and get a pension, or people that have owned 4, 5, 6 homes in their life and they keep making money on them and trading up and getting more value. It's just like all the people that moved to Vegas and Phoenix and areas like that sold their homes in California for a fortune and bought another home cash and a car and a Cadillac and put thousands, tens of thousands in the bank. It's how you do it. And it's about planning. It's about getting lucky. It's about using real estate to do it. It's about, I know people that, because I'm older now, I've met people that are received an inheritance. Their parents.
I know people who, when they were younger, received inheritances from their parents. And you've never owned a house, Tim. You said it in the other video. Never had a house.
And
never
left
had
them
a
their home.
401k.
And they sold it. And they bought truck, camper, whatever. And they went out into the RV world. Now, this video is about RV living. You can go and do everything I'm talking about and just down trade into a like a little apartment or condo from a big house. You don't want to live in an RV. You don't want to travel. Well, that's
because Tim, guys, he's the RV king over here. Absolute pro expert. He'll tell you how to do your gray and water and your black water and tanks and pro.
Okay, you can do that too. But the deal is, more and more people in America are finding that less is more. The heyday of having several cars, several credit cards, and a ton of debt, 2 lawnmowers, a garage full of crap, and HOAs and home insurance and needing new roofs and
all that stuff that Tim is, never actually experienced on his own dime. Maybe he's been in a house on somebody else's where he got that room where he wouldn't share a bathroom. Maybe then he was living in those neighborhoods, but otherwise, no. Tim was always pretty fancy, free, and footloose.
Working your prison job till you die, and all these kind of things. People are wising up. They're I mean, you won't believe,
my opinion,
since I started doing RV life, and I pass them on the road here. I just passed one earlier. There were acres of campers. They weren't drivables. They were pull behinds. There were acres of them there. The factories are making them. They're spitting them out. Just like when you go buy a car dealer, they got tons of cars and trucks there. People are buying them. People are buying everything. And so a lot of people are doing.
What they're not buying is your BS, Tim. I'm not buying it.
Doing it now. A lot of people buy them and they park them next to their house to go camping with the kids up in the mountains in North Carolina, once a year. And then, to me, that's a waste. If you got the money, you do you. But when you do what I just talked about, buy it and live in it.
You know what? Why don't you stop telling people how to live their lives, Tim? What about that? What about that? Think about that for a moment, because your life was, I have a feeling, was not that organized before. We know where you kind of were at. Couldn't even really take care of your dental work. I mean, you avoided doctors because you didn't have health insurance. I understand, potentially, in my opinion, allegedly. Keep going, Tim, but this is wild.
Instead of parking it next to your house,
face, potential lies.
you're getting your money back. You're using it. And that's the best thing you can do, is use one of these. The worst thing you can do is let it sit. Let the mice move in. Let everything start biodegrading. Your tires getting dry rotted, everything else. Use it, baby. Use it. So this is the minimalist lifestyle I chose. Now, as rates get higher for RV parks and certain seasons.
He says with the cowboy hat sitting in the back seat, his minimalist lifestyle. Oh, just please, YouTube, I wish you would stop this somehow. It's so bad. It's such a
seasons, like in South Florida, where I live, with my traveling that I've done, I've educated myself about, hey, I can live here. I never thought I could or would have thought about this place or this state. Or I can deal with this weather. And maybe I'll do this and that. I'll have two places. And that's what a lot of people do also. Find yourself somewhere that's very, very inexpensive. At the right time of the year, when the weather changes, you go to the other place. There's so many scenarios. You just have to study it, watch and listen to what I'm telling you, listen and watch what others can share with you on YouTube. Study up on it. And for God's sakes, when you get to be 62 and you got less runway in front of you than you got behind you, all your life is pretty much gone. I mean, you're not going to be 100. And if you do, what kind of life is that? What kind of life are you going to have from?
Wow. Merry Christmas, everybody. Santa Tim out here just spreading the joy of the holidays. Don't forget to send him a gift to his P.O. box. I'm sure it's listed in a link down below somewhere in his description box.
Really from 75 or 80 on. You're just going to be existing. You're not going to be out crushing it. I know, there are exceptions. There's Jack LaLanne's, but that's not the masses. Things take hold. Health goes down. You can't stop aging. And your faculties change, your muscles change, your values change, your ideals change, your goals change. So, like my neighbor I talked about, he waited till 80 years old to change, but he decided, I'm done. I'm out. I'm not making another picnic table. I'm selling everything, and I'm going to live in this really nice, it's a beautiful fifth wheel. You know, those are like apartments inside. They have like island kitchens and a living room in the rear, the forward bed.
Oh, goodness. Stop coveting what other people have, Tim. It's not very healthy for you. But you do, and then you try to put on this persona, in my opinion. Because we saw what he was doing just a couple of years ago. So somehow he's managed to move from a person trying to supplement his Social Security. He was kind of a broke guy. Now he's trying to say that he's been prepared, and he just, it's a character, in my opinion. This is a character. I think even the other one was probably partially a character. He's interesting,
bedroom,
to say the least.
And they have everything that any home has: plumbing, microwaves, refrigerators. Come on, it's a home. And I live in South Florida, where hurricanes can come. I was able to hook up and hightail it, all within a couple of weeks of one another. We had a hurricane come in right after another one, and people with homes, some of them sustained a lot of damage.
Yeah, milk it for some buy me a coffee.
They couldn't just move it. They could board up their windows and do what they could. I just hooked up mine to my bumper and left. And I didn't lose a single shingle or a single item of my possessions. And I came back. That's another advantage. You don't like the weather? Or it's dangerous weather coming? Leave. Get your camper and your RV, whatever, and leave. Now, before I end the video, a lot of people that have these Class A diesels, now you're talking about living large. These are some full-timers that sold it all, that had a lot of money. And instead of buying a home in Phoenix or Vegas from what they sold in California, they spent hundreds of thousands on a diesel.
Stop stalking people's homes, Tim. Whether they're mobile or not.
But they still wanted to travel, see America, and be in an RV. And there's a group of people that are doing this that you meet, that you have camaraderie with. And certain times of year you can travel together. You can go back every year and see the same people. That's what they do right now where I'm at. All these Canadians come every year, and they know each other. It's a great lifestyle, folks. And when you live in a sticks and bricks, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's probably the masses. But you would be surprised if you look around of how many people are living in mobile homes, motor homes, and RVs.
What happened to real estate, Tim? Last time you were coming back, taking this journey back to Florida, you stopped and met with the couple that were the real estate couple. And you and Tammy met with them and had breakfast and everything. And were, talking about houses and this, that, and the other, just like you were about to pop down $450,000 for a home. And all of that has disappeared. But, now we're back to my RV, and at least you put a hyphen between full-time. I think God's spell check was there somewhere.
And the like, all over this country. Millions. So consider it. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel, as I have an eclectic channel. It's about all kinds of stuff. And one thing we always do around here is crush it.
No, it's actually not an eclectic channel, everybody. What you'll find is that Tim tends to talk about Walmart, loves truck stops, Planet Fitness, McDonald's coffee, of course, best coffee ever. You'll find that Tim talks about the same things repeatedly. So that video is kind of wild, I think, because just is sitting there and creating this entire, in my opinion, persona in his mind of who he potentially, wants to portray himself to the YouTube audience. It really is not who he is. I mean, he's created this character, but I'm always curious to know, it had to be the YouTuber. It's got to be that initial Social Security video. YouTube, what have you done? All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.